Numbers chapter 16. I like to record some thoughts regarding Korach and Dathan and Abrim. It talks about in the Targum about how they were, known to God as they had. Here we go. And Moshe arose and went to remonstrate with Dathan and Abrim, and the elders of Israel followed. And he said to the congregation, "Remove now away from the tents of these men of sin, who have been worthy of death from the days of their youth in Mizraim. For they betrayed my secret when I slew the Mizraite. They provoked the Lord at the sea. At Alesh they profaned the Sabbath. And now they are gathered against the word of the Lord." So just getting back to Mizraim, when Moshe murdered the Egyptian, the following day it was Dathan and Abrim who were fighting, and it was them that said, "Are you going to murder me like you murdered the Egyptian?" And they told people, they spread the word about what Moshe had done. So that was back in the youth. When the Israelites were leaving Egypt, they were actually with Pharaoh and discussing, why are you letting the Israelites go, which helped change his heart. I've got a reading here about it. In my book, the book of the legends. Somehow they would have travelled and sort of amalgamated in with the Israelites somehow. I'm not too sure how that happened, but they obviously did, because they crossed the Red Sea. They went through with them into the wilderness, because here they are here. And obviously they profane the Sabbath. They don't keep the Sabbath or God's ways, so they had been problematic. I've got a reading here which just puts it in perspective about Korach and about the sort of man that he was. He was a real stirrer, and he told quite a few lies. So here's a story that he used to tell people. Korach was a scorner and spoke in scorn against Moses and Aaron. So what did he do? He assembled all the congregation in their presence, and began to speak words of scorn, saying, these are the stories he would tell. "In my neighbourhood there was a widow, and with her were her 2 fatherless daughters. The widow had only one field, and when she was about to plough, Moshe said to her, 'Thou shalt not plough with an ox and an ass together.' When she was about to sow, Moses said to her, 'Thou shalt not sow thy field with 2 kinds of seed.' And when she was about to reap the harvest and to stack the sheaves, Moses said to her, 'Thou shalt not harvest the gleanings, the overlooked sheaves, and the corner of the field.' And when she was about to bring the harvest into the granary, Moshe would say to her, 'Give heave offering, first tithe and second tithe.' She submitted to the law and gave them to him. What did the poor woman do then? She sold the field and bought 2 sheep, and that she might clothe herself in the wool shorn from them, and profit from the production of lambs. As soon as the sheep brought forth their young, Aaron came and said to the widow, 'Give me the firstling males, for this is what the Holy One said to me. All the firstling males that are born of thy herd and of thy flock thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God.' Again she submitted to the law and gave the firstling males to Aaron. When the time for shearing arrived, she sheared her 2 sheep. Then Aaron came again and said to the widow, 'Give me the first portion of the shearing, for the Holy One said, You give them to him, the first shearing of your sheep.' She said, 'There is no strength in me to withstand this man. Behold, I will slaughter the sheep and eat them.' After she slaughtered them, Aaron came once more and said to her, 'Give me the shoulder, the jaws, and the maw.' The widow said, Even after I have slaughtered my sheep, I am not free of his demands. Behold, I devote my sheep to the sanctuary. But Aaron said to her, in that case, they belong entirely to me, for thus said the Holy One, everything devoted to Israel will be mine. Aaron picked up his sheep and went his way, and left her weeping, her and her 2 daughters. This is what happened to the poor woman. For such evil things Moses and Aaron do on their own, but they hang the blame on the Holy One. So that's the sort of person he was. On, the son of Peleth, was saved by his wife, who said, "What will you get out of it? Either Moses remains master and you follow, or Korach becomes master and you are still no more than a follower." On asked, "But what can I do? I have taken part in the deliberations and I have sworn loyalty to Korach." He said, and she said, "Stay home, and I will save you." Then she plied him with wine until he was drunk, and put him to bed in their tent, and seated herself at the entrance. She loosened her hair, so that whoever of Korah's company came by her, they withdrew from their tent. In the meantime, Korah and his company were all swallowed up. Thus says, a wise woman builds her house. That proverb can be applied to the wife of On, the son of Peleth, and the foolish woman plucks it down with her own hands. That can be applied to the wife of Korach. So I just wanted to read that. It wasn't just about the Tzitzits. It wasn't just about the thread. But I think this fella complained about a lot of things. And he was causing division. And I know one thing that the Lord hates is those that divides the flock and causes division amongst the people. Because he hadn't kept the Sabbath, there's no covenant between him and the Holy One. So I think the Lord was righteous in doing what he did. And, you know, it wasn't just about one thing. It was the heart of this man. And obviously he'd been like that from his youth, against Moshe and against the Lord himself. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Okay. Blessed be his holy name.